Hello, welcome to Dungeons Podcast. I'm your host Justin. Today we're reviewing an indie superhero film written directed by Jason Trost, who's most famous for his film that he did with his brother called The FP. And he also appeared in some Slayer music videos, I guess. This movie, I thought this movie came out in 2013, but according to Google, it said it came out 2011. So I'm just gonna have to go by that. It's an hour. This film's like an hour and 18 minutes, so it really ends at like an hour and 15, just credits after that. It's action thriller film starring Jason Trost as Charge, aka John, Lucas Till as Cutthroat, Ben, James Remar as Rickshaw, Sopher Merkley as Shadow and Jill. Like Jill is her, secret identity. Valmassy, who was LWE in the FP, plays Charlie the Wall, and you got Whalen and Nick Principe as two supervillains in the film. Also, special cameo by Crank director Brian Taylor, which I thought was like fucking random as hell. So this movie had a budget of 20 grand. Oh my god! That's like less than like the FP. So do not expect a lot from this film, right? The story for this film is basically four superheroes who were part of like this team that broke up because of like personal problems, are reunited again when they are kidnapped by their worst enemy, played by James Remar, who plays Rickshaw in the film, who is basically reminds me a lot of like Riddler slash Toymaker. Toymaker being the villain, like a Superman villain, right? And he basically kidnaps our four superheroes, which I'm guessing he was able to do that by doxing everybody, probably because Shadow does not fucking bother wearing a mask. So thanks a lot, Shadow. He kidnaps our four superheroes, which their superpowers are: Charge, who's played by Jason Trost, has super strength. Cutthroat, who has super speed despite wearing a fucking cape. Which that's one of my problems with the film, is like I if you know anything about me, you know I like comic books, right? So I've never in my fucking life heard of a speedster with like that wears a cape. Like the only speedsters I know that wear capes is that are also have the ability to fly, which makes sense for why you would have a cape, because it looks, flying around with a cape looks cool, but running around the ground with a cape looks fucking dumb, and can get caught on things, which which is why you wouldn't want to wear a cape if you had super speed, right? Shadow can turn invisible, and Valmassy's character Charlie the Wall, it has invincibility. Right, so what happens is our four characters are kidnapped and given injections that take away their superpowers that they apparently got from an asteroid when they were teenagers. Which if one of them has like invincibility, how the fuck were they able to get a needle in his wrist? That's another plot hole in the film, right? And another fact that he does not understand how pain works, despite him only getting his superpowers when he was like 17 or whatever, right? So that's another plot point. So basically, what happens in the film is that our characters are forced to play like are put in life and death situations by Rickshaw. It has like this like Saw kind of feel to it. but except for traps, you know, they're giving moral conundrums, right? Which is a bit too unfair, right? They're in the small town where, like, you know, that where where that's mostly abandoned, but Rickshaw has, you know, civilians tied up to bombs, and our characters have to go along playing his game, right? Or he'll kill the hostages, right? Which the first round is him having our superheroes split up into two teams fighting adversaries, right? The second round is them choosing either to kill civilians or themselves. And for every one that they kill, that for every you know, for every superhero that kills himself, one of the civilians go free. And then the third round is, you know, one of our superheroes having to kill another one to save a hostage that is a relative of one of them, right? While this is going on, our superheroes are dying one by one, and Charge, who's the leader, is coming up with a plan on how to defeat Rickshaw, right? So my problem with the film, and I know like Screen Rant says this film sucks, whatever. I think that's a load of shit. I think this is a pretty good film, especially if you like. I love how like movie critics will give horror movies leeway for having lower budgets, but when it comes to superhero films, there's no leeway whatsoever, right? Which, in my opinion, this is probably one of the best superhero films I've ever watched. That's not based off a comic book. That's not like, you know, that's very low budget, right? And that's even including Super by, you know, Rainn Wilson and James Gunn, right? Because this movie felt like, you know, that this was made by actual comic book fan that's paying homage to like this, to the, you know, superhero genre, and has this like dark Batman kind of feel to it as well, like dark and gritty, like, you know, that like Dark Knight kind of feel, where our characters are like, you know, have to make tough calls. But that's kind of one of my problems with the film, is that our characters are kind of shitty superheroes and prioritize saving themselves versus saving others, which makes me wonder, what was the fucking point of them even becoming superheroes at all, right? And then there was like the art housey, like flashback scenes where all the flashback scenes are done in black and white. Also, for Jason Trost fans, you get to see what his eye looks like, his his left eye looks like, right? Which he always wears an eye patch in his films because there's something wrong with his eye. There's like one scene in the film where you can kind of see his like left eye, right? Which, you know, in case you're wondering. But most of the time when he's out of his costume in the flashback scenes, he's wearing like, you know, sunglasses. There's like one scene where he's wearing like, you know, regular glasses, and he kind of reminded me of Peter Parker, where he was going for like a Peter Parker / you know, or Clark Kent kind of look, which I thought was cool. Yeah, so the film is dark and gritty, which I like, but like, yeah, I had problems with our characters, like, you know, prioritizing like, you know, themselves over saving people. And then there's like a scene, there's like a gambit in the film where our characters are put in like this situation where they have to trick Rickshaw, right? And for the plan to work, they need Rickshaw to actually keep his end of the bargain, when previously, during the previous rounds, they never expected him to hold up his end of the bargain, and he never did. So why would they think, oh, he wouldn't just, you know, just kill the, like that? I don't know, that didn't work. Also the plot, there's a plot twist in the film like an hour in, right? like I would say like 57 minutes or 58 minutes in the film, where you find I don't want to spoil it like right now, but like yeah, I thought that plot twist was fucking stupid, and there's no way that that would work, right? So, but despite that, I think if you're a comic book fan and you don't mind lower budget films, this movie is worth watching, and I'm giving it like a 6.5 out of 10. And though I think in the future Jason Trost should stick to like comedic films, because I think that's his strength. But you know, the guy's a stuntman, so he wants to do like you know serious stuff. So so there's a plot twist in the film I gotta talk about because it's so fucking dumb. Also, I wasn't a fan of so like Charge, who is wearing a costume that's very much reminiscent of that like fuck, what's that guy's name from Drake and Josh? Drake Bell. Drake Bell did a superhero parody superhero film. I forget what it's called. I think it was called Superhero Movie, where he played the Firefly, which was a parody of Spider-Man. He's pretty much wearing this, not the same costume, but it's like the same color. It pretty much looks like the same costume. And it's like, what the fuck? That bothered me. Also, Charge is supposed to be the best superhero in the team, and he's supposed to be the strongest one. And his superpower was he had super strength. It turns out in the plot twist that he never had super strength to begin with, right? And it's like, what the fuck? How the fuck would he have been able to fake having super strength, right? For years, right? That makes no fucking sense. And he was even able to like fool his villains that he had super strength, right? Leave Valmassy's character, The Wall, thinking he had super strength because he got that handshake and like it hurt. We could have tossed that up. Oh, he doesn't know, like he's not used to pain, even though he wasn't born with invincibility, right? So like that whole thing where he doesn't understand how pain works is fucking dumb, right? And he died in a way that was like, wow, dude, like you get punched in the face when you're wearing a pretty much like a full, almost practically a full face mask that would have probably protect your face, like from that punch, and then he gets like he's wreathing on the floor in pain from getting punched in the face, like despite having like a mask that would have blocked most of the damage, right? And he gets stabbed in the stomach, right? They don't even try to save it. And it's like, dude, I'm not no like doctor or something, but like they could have at least tried to close the wound and maybe buy him time. But yeah, right, they didn't even try to save him, right? With Whalen as the crazy villain that's dressed up like Abe Lincoln, not Abe Lincoln, Uncle Sam, with his Uncle Sam like outfits, like I want you, and he has like the fucking flamethrower. That was fucking badass. Someone needs to make like a fan film or whatever, and get Whalen to play the Joker. He would probably be a better Joker than like Aaron from fucking Batman and Son. Aaron from Batman and Son. Stop fucking playing Joker. I'm sorry, you suck. Get Whalen to fucking do it. If he's doing movies like this, he'll fucking do your fucking fan films or whatever. Cause like he would be fucking perfect for Joker in like small like fan films, right? But like other than that, I did think the ending was kind of retarded. Like like Charge fakes his death, and with takes the double barrel shotgun and is able to, like, you know, knock out Rickshaw's guards without Rickshaw hearing them. At one point, you know, he's trying to fight off death, and he's like banging his fists against the wall right by the staircase that leads to Rickshaw's like room where he's hiding out watching, Shadow's like predicament. Doesn't hear the banging or the screaming that was going on downstairs, right? But when he goes up the stairs and hits like a light that was hanging off the wall, he suddenly turns around and like sees charge, and I thought that was the dumbest fucking thing. So it was pretty satisfying. Our main character, like, you know, getting like the upper hand of the villain and just unloading him with the shotgun. That was pretty cool. But yeah, other than that, the ending kind of sucked, and it was pretty much a downer. Our characters pretty much are all fucked, and there's like a sequel, which is like, what the fuck? I hope nobody returns, and they just get actual like new casts, and where you actually get to see them use their superpowers, because the only character you actually get to see use their superpowers is Shadow, and you know, knowing that she's just like, her thing is just that she can turn invisible. All they have to do is an edit where she's there 1 second and the next she's gone. Which they didn't even do an edit, they just moved the camera. And then they just got her out of the scene. Yeah, so like, other than that, that's all I gotta say for this film. I did enjoy this film when I watched it the first time around. The second time around, even though it's been years, did not enjoy it as much, but overall, I think it's a decent superhero film and worth watching. Alright guys, peace.